How's it going, guys? Yomitosh here, back with another video, and I've got 10 jailbreak tweaks to show you today. And right off the bat, the first one is called large titles. Now this tweak removes the large titles that came about in iOS 11, and so instead of the large title you might get here, as I'll demonstrate on my iPhone 7, you get the small titles as we have been used to on iOS 11, iOS 9, iOS 8 and below. This next trick is a really awesome trick, and what this does is completely revamps most of Spotify. So you go into Spotify here and it pretty much looks regular, except that you have playlists and other different titles or different like albums playlist on the homepage rather than the old stock look. And you get this is now your new now playing button, and when you click on it, it shows that new Spotify UI, and you can also scroll down on that UI to see a bit about the artist, and it's really cool. It also has the driving mode as well. With driving mode you get this, as you can see. I'll just pause that. And now the next trick is called Notif. And Notif allows you to see all your notifications on your lock screen, so you don't have to swipe up to see your notifications, they're just right there. I'm not a fan of this, but I'm pretty sure some people out there might like this, because some people who do clear their notifications quite frequently. I don't. I have notifications for days. Anyway, that's me, and this is a pretty cool tweak as well. And heading into the control center, I've got two tweaks for you. These tweaks are called Sugarcane and CC modules. Now what Sugarcane does is gives you percentage. I'll just bring that in closer. It gives you percentage for your sliders on iOS 11, on the iOS 11 control center, and it moves the icon into the middle. And this trick is pretty awesome, at least for those of you who'd like to say, oh, I want my volume at like 50%. Now you can do it. You can tell when it's 50 by just sliding up, and the percentage moves as well. I'll just demonstrate it there. So that's pretty cool. And you still get the animations in the icon in the middle there. And the next trick in the control center is called CC modules, and this one is great. This one allows you to put custom icons into your control center. So right now I've got Cydia, so I click on it and I go straight into Cydia. I go back there, and I've also got Noctis, and when I do that, Noctis disables and Noctis also enables. And if you don't know what Noctis is, make sure to check out my other video. It's dark mode for iOS 11. So I'll just be back in a second to clear this, because Noctis does this weird thing when you switch it off and switch it back on. So I'll just show you the settings of CC modules, and it's pretty cool. So I'll just head over to settings and control my center. This is another tweak that's really awesome. So control my center, and you head in and you just want to find the app that you want to put there. So it's got a bunch of apps, so Snapchat, Instagram, preferences, Electra, and some other ones, and you just move them in there, and then you can slide them around. So just move Noctis down, for example, and Noctis moves to the end position, and I'll just move it back, and Noctis moves back to the third position, which is pretty cool. Now this next trick is pretty niche, but it's for those of you who use Sleep Cycle to monitor your sleeping habits and sleeping patterns. So what Sleep Cycle doesn't do, it doesn't tell you how many hours of sleep you're going to get based on the time that you've set. And I'll just show you on my iPhone 7 over here. So as you can see, it shows you get 8 hours and 26 minutes of sleep down there, while it doesn't show you anything on the unjailbroken phone. So this is helpful for those of you who use this app quite frequently. I don't particularly use it. I tried it for a bit, but I ended up not being able to stick to it. I will try this a bit later though, when I need to manage my sleeping patterns a lot better. Now this next trick is called More Power Options, and as you can guess, it gives you more power options. And now I'm not going to use my power button and home button, because that's the combination for Fluidity. And if you don't know, Fluidity is what gives me this unique iPhone 10 looking style, which is pretty cool. So I get my notification center on the top, or rather control center on the top rather than on the bottom, and I also get the gestures. But then again, so I'll just go into my settings and general, just to show you what the more power options looks like. And you get shutdown, respring, reboot, and safe mode. This is really cool, and you get a lot of functionality from this. This next trick is called Mercury, and Mercury allows you to see the messages you haven't responded to. So with Mercury, you get like these red dots on the sides of the messages you haven't responded to. Is good for keeping track and making sure that you try and get to everything, especially for those of us who like forget about stuff a lot. I do personally forget about messages a lot, not quite deliberately, but it just happens. It just seems to happen occasionally. So that's pretty cool. And this next trick is called Detailed Power Usage. And for those of us who have jumped ship to iOS 11 and had all the bad experiences with battery life, not all of us did, but many of us did. With detailed power usage, you can actually see the functions that are taking battery on your iOS 11 device, which could be quite annoying sometimes when you can't seem to find what is draining your battery. So it gives you this detailed looking graph where you can see the pattern of battery usage. And usually I don't charge this phone for up to 2 days, which is pretty cool. The SE battery life is still one of the best iPhone battery lives out there. And it also allows you to see system processes, so such as my Springboard and some other background processes that might not be in the actual app. So for example, this YouTube process, which isn't really part of the YouTube app, which is quite weird. I haven't seen that one before. So you get the other regular ones like kernel task, which is the same as you see on the Mac, and also backboard, which is unique to iOS. And you also get a few extra details: your size, capacity of the battery, your serial number, which I'm going to blur out right there, your discharge rate, your voltage of your battery, the temperature of your battery as well as the charging state and the actual battery life. Now there's a tweak that actually gives you the actual battery life rather than Apple's battery life, which is based on whatever value you have as remaining capacity rather than the full capacity of your battery, which is quite weird, but that's what Apple does. And it does set people at peace anyways. I mean, you won't want to see that your battery is showing 82% after like a year, when it actually should show 100 when you've left it overnight charging. I can't complain about that. And onto the very last tweak I have for you. This is called NoSubstitute. And substitute is basically what all your tweaks run off of on Electra. Previously on iOS 9 and through down to probably about iOS 7, it was called Substrate, and it's Substrate that all your tweaks basically run off from. And Substitute is very powerful. It allows basically all your tweaks to run. And there's some apps that do detect substitute or substrate, whatever condition you happen to be in, iOS 10 users. And what this does is basically allows you to disable it, and it stops those apps from detecting that you have jailbreak on your phone. Basically, it doesn't work for all apps. Some apps are better than others at detecting jailbreak, but I'm guessing the way Substitute is built, it's a bit different, so it's a lot better and it's a lot seamless with NoSubstitute, which is pretty cool. So what you can do is whatever app that you might have trouble with, for example, Asphalt doesn't let you start the game if you have some form of jailbreak. So something like that, you could just disable Substitute in it, especially if you're not planning to like hack it. And if you do, you probably get banned anyway, so I probably wouldn't do that. And you can also disable it in like PayPal or your bank app, which I wouldn't advise you do. So what I did was just get a phone to do all the important stuff. I know everyone cannot do this, but this is really for the best type of security. I hope you guys like this lot of jailbreak tweaks. I think these are some of the best in a while, at least for Electra. and make sure to leave a like if you like this video, and make sure to subscribe, watch my other videos as well. And it's been Yummy Tosh. Peace.